Tell us.
Let me tell you one other thing. My brother Tom said he was standing at the graveside. He was a missionary in Zimbabwe for a while. He was standing at the graveside of an old Zimbabwean man, and another Zimbabwean pastor came up to him and said, Tom, he said, when an old man dies, a library is burned. Isn't that a great story?
When an old man dies, a library is burned.
Yeah. So we need to seize, whether our parents are believers or non-believers. We have learned from them. There's stuff we need to know.
Yeah. What do you guys want to, and how do you pass on this heritage? I know that no person becomes a Christian just because their parents are Christians. God has a lot of children, multitudes of children, but not one grandchild in the spiritual sense, and born again. So this tension between the heritage and our own personal relationship. How can the parents here who are listening, how can they pass on to their children this, knowing that the children must make the decision? So this tension.
I think it's really critical for kids to understand that regardless of what my relationship with the Lord is like, I can't give them my relationship with the Lord. And so even as very young children, I think they can come to know that they can know God for themselves, that there's some point when, like in the story of Samuel, which I love, that God is going to come to that child and knock on the door of their heart and say, I want to rule in your life. And then they have the opportunity to make the same choice I made when I was young, to allow Him to rule in their life. And so we talk a lot with our kids about that moment. Our kids are all praying right now for Jessica, our youngest, who's not yet a believer but loves the Lord, and she knows in her head that she wants to follow the Lord, and she's waiting on that moment when He says, Jessica, this is the moment I want you to come follow me. And we've talked about Samuel, when God initiated that moment, and he said, okay, Lord, here I am. And so I think imparting to your kids the understanding that this is a choice you have to make. We can't make it for you. And even as you walk as a believer, we can't make you do the right things. So that thing of understanding that their responsibility in every circumstance is not to do it because mom and dad want them to do it. Sometimes that's a healthy pressure, but ultimately they've got to learn as they get older to get to God in every circumstance and allow Him to rule.
Tex, as a mother, what would you say to that? I mean, what one thing do you feel in imparting to the children, helping the children come to know Christ?
I think to me the thing that drew me as an 18-year-old was seeing Jesus in other people's lives, what you're talking about. I just, I was reared in church, and yet still there wasn't that relationship with Jesus. I knew about Him, knew the church situation, did all the right things. So I think with our kids, because I had walked through that, I didn't want them just to walk through the mechanics, and so we would do like y'all. We would share the Bible stories and try to make them real, and do, just different things that would make them have that help them have that thirst and hunger. And to me, so I think them seeing Jesus in me, even in my imperfections, and when I was wrong, to go to Him and say, I was wrong, and that's not what Jesus wanted me to do. And just being real and open and honest with Him in my relationship with Jesus, and
the reality of that, and just in everyday life.
And I think for pastors and guys in ministry like us, it's really easy, I think, for not necessarily from us, although it could come from the pastor, but it's easy for the people around you to tell the children, you got to be this way because look at your dad, And one of the things I think we did was we released them from that. We said, this is what we want for you, not because I'm in ministry, but because this is what Jesus wants for you.
Absolutely.
And that was real important.
Yeah.
We had something happen last Sunday or Easter Sunday, whenever that was now. But I baptized a lady from a Muslim background, and one of the local churches in San Antonio. I'm not a pastor; I'm an evangelist, and so this Muslim lady from Iranian background, had come to Christ, and she wanted me to baptize her, and the church was very gracious to invite me in. So my son and his wife and 2 kids came to the service over at that church, and our granddaughters are 2.5 and 4.5, and the 2.5 went into the nursery, but they brought the 4.5 in to see the baptism, and it was really interesting to see her interest and her trying to figure out what was going on, because they started the service with me baptizing, and they call me Grand. What's Grand? Up there in this white church, but she's in a white robe, you know. And but I think those kind of things, just taking opportunities that are there, that stimulate questions and sharing out of real life things.
I think, the teachable moments and relating all of life to Christ, to His Word. I mean, whenever we discipline, whenever we talk about what's going on in our neighborhood, it's not a preachy Sunday school-y deal, but we just say, you know what, this is how we live our life, and we're living here in the midst of this community to help people see Christ. Did they see Christ in you when you slugged him? Is that what, and so I think seizing all of the possible teachable moments, and I think also then helping when we sense that God is going to be somewhere, in a meeting, or bringing those kids in there, making sure they're exposed to the presence of Christ so they can feel that, what that's like. And a third thing, I think those formal moments that you orchestrate, we've done a lot with our family, and honestly with our extended family, of kind of corporate moments. I know every Thanksgiving we have all the Eliff family together, and we usually have a 3 to 4 or 5 hour deal where we think about what we're going to do. The older people do. We it's a lot of fun, but we share truth, and I know one year I actually kind of wrote a poem about our legacy, and we gave it to all of our kids and grandkids, and we laid hands on them, and we prayed for them, and so I think that gives children a sense of destiny, that they're part of a big movement.
That's one thing with us. The ministry that God's called us into, we've been able to travel all over the world, and our kids have come back to us and said, just hearing some of the testimonies that we, just exposing them to other people that love Jesus and have maybe a different heartbeat, but it's been neat to see how God's used that in their lives personally.
Listen, this has been fun. We could go on all day, but we got to stop here, and we just appreciate you.
You don't want to see my pictures of all my kids.
We have
8 by 10.
We'll do what do you call it?
Write to me, and we'll send you a free photo.
I can't. My mind is blank. I can't think of one of those presentations where the slides come out.
PowerPoint.
Yeah. But listen, thank you guys so much, and we just appreciate you. And God bless you. And think about some of these things. Share this video with some of your friends who have 8 children, and I know it'll be helpful to them.